we belong. So we gotta wake up and sound the alarm. Oh, my people.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. It is a Thursday morning, so I'd like to welcome you to the mid-morning show. My name is Julie Ali, and I do hope and pray, inshallah, you keep me company for the next 2 hours. As always, amazing guests lined up to talk about some amazing things happening in our communities. First guest is Rayana Edwards to talk about the 2020 Goldman Sachs and Fortune Global Women Leaders Award. She'll be followed by another Rayana, this time Rayana Musaji, to talk about an initiative she has started in the Crosby area. Very interesting indeed. And I think if this initiative is replicated in all other suburbs, then alhamdulillah, we can make an amazing difference in the lives of the less fortunate. Zainul Abidin from the Awqaf Foundation is going to talk to us about an upcoming webinar, and it is about women talking about celebrating National Wills Week. So that, of course, is Zainul Abidin Kaji from Awqaf South Africa. We'll also be chatting with Junaid Bayat. He is a transformational coach. I'm sure I've got that right. Yes, Junaid Bayat. And gosh, it's amazing the things people do. I'm just thinking about all 4 the guests that I'm having on the show this morning. Rayana Edwards, how she's putting back into the community. Rayana Musaji, with her project also putting back into the community. Awqaf South Africa, a name which speaks for itself, with someone as a giant of a man, Zainul Kaji, who has, from the inception of Awqaf, been empowering the Muslim community and going beyond the borders of the Muslim community in South Africa and just doing a whole host of amazing work. And now comes along Junaid Bayat, a coach, and he's also putting back into the community by way of an amazing project for matriculants. So let's get the show on the road with our first person, our first interviewee for the day, and that is the lovely Rayana Edwards. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for having me on your show today, Julie.
Lovely to have you. This is the second time, isn't it? I've had you on my show before. A long time ago.
Yes, correct.
Actually, it's nice to now put a face to the name. So wonderful seeing you again. Congratulations. This is amazing. This sounds like a very prestigious award. It's the 2020 Goldman Sachs and Fortune Global Women Leaders Award. Now, coincidentally, I heard about you from a very dear friend who's next on the show. Her name is Rayana Musaji. And a long time ago, she said to me, you've got to talk to Rayana Edwards. She's running this amazing initiative, and she's involved with Saris for Change, I think is what she said. It's about how you turn saris into something wearable. But I'm going to leave you to explain all of that to our viewers. Who is Rayana Edwards, and how did she find herself in this space?
First of all, thank you, Rayana Musaji, my dear friend. I know that we have the same vision and the same heart in doing good within our community. To answer your question, Julie, I have been in the fashion industry for the last 35 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so it's been a long journey. Part of me launching Sari for Change, which was 8 years ago, was really looking at the skills that we have in South Africa, and how are we utilizing these skills and affording it an opportunity to be able to reach a global stage. I looked at the sari, 6 meters of beautiful fabric. And as we all know, when production starts in garment making, your first expense is the actual fabric, and that really makes the garment. I then saw the opportunity for gently worn saris that are not in use any longer, where does that go? Is it going to landfill? Is it polluting our environment? How can we utilize it and give it a second life whilst teaching skills to unemployed women and uneducated women in the townships? And being in the industry for 35 years at all different levels, it really was about starting training programs where we could teach women these skills using the saris to create beautiful products. And as I sit here, these products are being exported to Denmark, the States, and soon to be Australia. We're taking the skills, giving a new lease on life to a gently worn sari, and thus also being kinder to our environment.
Give us an example of what is the second lease of life with the 6-meter sari? Are you turning them into dresses, blouses, handbags? And it's a pity, I should have asked you to keep some of those samples next to you, which you could have shown on air today.
I can pop up to our showroom and give you an idea of what we create.
Brilliant.
With COVID, I think it's been very convenient that we try and keep as close to our work as possible. So I have a work at home environment with the studio right upstairs from where I stay.
And of course, thanks to technology.
Yeah, exactly. So we make the kimono, and I think everybody's familiar with what a kimono is. We often wear it as our bayas, abbas, but also a long coat. We also use the saris to make kaftans and bomber jackets, which is for the youth. Okay, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see. I will turn the camera.
Okay, I can see your rack with a whole host of gorgeous, colorful fabrics. Maybe you want to take one or two of them out and show it to us.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Stunning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Beautiful.
And then these are kimonos, which is really very, very popular.
Right. Absolutely gorgeous.
We try and utilize the sari in the best possible way we can, not wasting any of the fabric. We also use the bags, which we pack the garment in after you've bought it. And the ladies train using this bag to learn to stitch straight. And once they can stitch correctly, they then move on to a product. So the bags don't go for waste either. And we're now making masks as well from the waste fabric.
Okay, now you've been doing this for over 10 years, I presume. What made you decide to look at the international market? Did you think that this would be attractive to people overseas? And what was the local market looking like? Question number 2. Question number 3, the moment somebody comes up with a brilliant idea such as yours, you're going to get a gazillion other people copying it as well. Your thoughts on that? Are you with us, Rayana? Your picture is frozen. Let us see if we can try and get this sorted out. Please stay with us. Let's take a quick ad break while my producer tries and gets Rayana back on air.
Media, humanitarian journalism. With over 80 years of experience, IG Hussein and Company are renowned for their quality Islamic wear and goods. IG Hussein and Company stock a variety of Islamic items, musallas, kitabs, Medina dates, perfumes and exclusive gifts. We guarantee you a unique and friendly shopping experience for the entire family. Visit our new branch in Overport at 202 Kenilworth Park, Brickfield Road. Open 7 days a week with ample parking and wheelchair friendly. Like us on Facebook or Instagram at IG Hussein for our latest promotions and updates. IG Hussein and Company, your Islamic lifestyle.
Fabric Direct, now open at 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban, offering you a variety of dress fabrics, curtaining, upholstery, wallpaper, and deco. Fabric Direct, quality, price, and a range that speaks for itself. 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban. Fabric Direct, definitely worth a visit.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal's Breakfast Club aim to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend the day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner by visiting our website on www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
I'm looking back on my old
Welcome
life.
back. It is almost 11:15 this morning with me, Julie Ali, on the Mid-Morning Show. We're talking with Rayana Edwards about her Sorry for Change project. It's been running for just over 6 years, and she has won the Goldman Sachs Women Entrepreneurship Award, which obviously has to do with women who have truly made meaningful change in their line of work. I hope you still remember the 3 questions I gave you before we lost you.
No, if you can please repeat them, Julie.
Okay, let's start with question number 3 first. I'm thinking about, entrepreneurs popping up all over the show, and someone then deciding that what you've done is amazing, it's worked for you, and a million other people try and replicate your idea. Your thoughts on that?
I think that there's enough for everybody. We in a time where innovation is key as entrepreneurs. So we look at, there is no such thing as the original originator. Okay, there's always a way to innovate further and improve on a particular design. So a lot of people, and I have helped a lot of entrepreneurs through the process of them coming to me and saying, how can I use this? And there's so many different market segments that one can tap into. For instance, the halal market, the Muslim market, is valued at $48 billion globally. There's still a lot of scope for this. In my space, particularly, resort wear is very huge. People love to take my garment, and when they're traveling overseas, well, hopefully in the future as well. And then, of course, you've got ready-to-wear garments. There's all different types of segments that one can slot into. So I'd say, Bismillah, go for it. We all challenge today, and there is enough for everybody.
Alhamdulillah, you are very generous indeed. What does this award mean for you, and how did you come about? How did you enter? And also, when did you enter the overseas space? When did you start marketing your garments abroad? So question number 1, how did this Goldman Sachs and Fortune Global Women Leaders Award come about? Normally, it's other people nominating you, is it not?
Correct. So with the Goldman Sachs, I am privileged, and I am going to share this with all your listeners today. I'm privileged to be the recipient of a scholarship that I originally was part of in 2015. This scholarship was through Goldman Sachs, where we received in education in terms of entrepreneurship, very much in line to an MBA based on your existing business. And they cover all the modules that one normally does at business school. This is now available free online on Coursera. I can share the details with you for after as well, because they've opened it up now. So as a graduate of the 10,000 women, it's called Goldman Sachs. There are 10,000 women globally that has benefited from this business program. In South Africa alone, there were 300 women that were invited to this education, and our lectures were conducted at Gibbs. And through Gibbs, we then graduated after a year, and we became part of that alumni.
What is the prerequisite, Rayana? What is the prerequisite to have attended this this course at GIPS? And obviously
Um,
things have changed this year with COVID. I presume it's now all online.
Correct. It's under Coursera, 10K Women Goldman Sachs. It's now free for everyone. At the time that I was on the program, when I started, the prerequisite was for us to have an existing business.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
And obviously they would look at that, and obviously a lot of other criteria in personal interviews. It was quite a tight screening process.
And what led to you being awarded the winner?
I think that as time, from the time I graduated up until this year, a lot has changed psychologically, and also it's not business as normal. What I developed in the time afterwards, which I then joined into my business and brought into my business, because I've always been in the clothing industry, was the paying it forward model. And that's what they recognize. The fact that you are donating your gently worn sari to us, we are able to upcycle, remake it, whilst upskilling women in the process. So the paying it forward model starts from the sari that we receive, to the skills that we are teaching you, to the business knowledge and skills that we are giving to you. So eventually you become our supplier, and we are able to buy it back from you.
Okay. Let's talk about the award. How did that then come about? What were you judged on? And what was the grand prize? And where to from here for someone like you? I mean, that's a big deal. That's really a big deal, winning the award.
It is, Julie. I had to pinch myself when I sat on the summit, because the award normally is, it's been running 4 years in a row, and it's normally held in America, in Washington, D.C. And so I think I was deprived of a trip to Washington, D.C. because of COVID. But nevertheless, they had the actual award online virtually. And when I looked at the lineup of speakers, Meghan Markle was one of the speakers. I was a speaker, and I'm like, whoa, I can't believe this, But the reality was, this is the right time to be able to pool our ideas and to cross-pollinate, because everybody's looking at a new way of doing things. And essentially what I'm sharing is that I wasn't working in your mainstream fashion space. I was looking at, how do we solve a problem? How do we solve the unemployment crisis in our country? And how are we getting women to put food on the table? Because that was the immediate need. And that's exactly what Goldman Sachs recognized. What we do from the whole process, from start to finish, is what I call a sacred economy. It's about women working together and saying, I've got this skill, I've got this sari, let's bring it together and let's see what can happen. And ultimately, 6 years down the line, we are proving to be sustainable on every level. And it's working within the sustainable fashion space, where we are improving on the way things were originally, and remaking and repurposing.
Alhamdulillah, you haven't told us what was the grand prize that you walked away with.
Okay, so it's 25. Yes, I will. It's very exciting. It's $25,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and fortunately, there were 2 South Africans that won it this year. Myself, and there was another lady, Emma, in Cape Town, and she's in the IT space, teaching AI into township schools as well. And so for me, what I'm going to be doing with the prize, and how I presented after being shortlisted, and is I'm going to be creating more incubation hubs at schools in townships, because this is where the unemployed moms are sitting. They're taking their kids to school, they're around in the community. We have already started one in Dobsonville, where moms come to the school space and they are able to learn skills for 6 to 9 month period, as well as business skills. And by the time they're done with that incubation, they are then able to move towards becoming entrepreneurs themselves.
So how many trainers do you have, Rayana? Because you need to keep,
So
obviously, so there's this employment opportunity for your trainers. Then they're going on to train women amazing skills. Those women then have an opportunity to either work permanently, I should imagine, for you, for your overseas market, or create their own employment opportunities in the townships.
exactly that. So they're not compelled to stay within the project. If the skills they receive from us through this incubation assist them in becoming more employable and also aiding them in starting their own businesses, we encourage that. Should they want to start immediately in terms of the earning processes, they then opt to stay with us and become our supplier. So there are 3 options that are open to them at any given time. We're starting off with 12 women in this incubation, and by month 6, we will add another 12.
Brilliant. Long-term plans for Sari for Change. There's going to be a time when, you know, we are living in the instant age. We're going to be tired of garments repurposed out of secondhand saris. We're going to look for something more interesting, more exciting, something totally different. Have you started applying your mind to your 5-year and 10-year long-term plans?
I think that it's about looking at what fabrics, what resources we have that can be reused differently. We are living in Africa. It is the time for us to really showcase to the rest of the world, you know, the culture aspect, the heritage, the color, the textures, to bring that all together in one space. And instead of us always having to depend on what's coming in from overseas, it's to turn it around. Okay, and say, this is what Africa can produce. This is the production process behind it. This is the story. These are how many people are being empowered through the process. So as much as we're saying that, yes, saris can become redundant, but in the design space, there's already I'm looking at shoes. Okay, we're doing shoes which we'll be covering with saris. They are beautiful. We'll be launching that by early next year. We're looking at jewelry. We're looking at soft furnishings, and all of these items. We are inviting designers to come and collaborate with us. If we are doing jackets and we using different types of fabrics, not only the sari to combine it with, we show up with a completely different product, but at the same time ensuring our products are functional. So there's always room for this improvement, and collaborations for me are key in moving forward.
You're currently busy with Sari for Change, and obviously you say gently worn saris, and going forward you're going to repurpose as much of clothing, gently worn clothing, shoes, bags, etc., to continue in this space. How do you source the gently worn stuff? You know, because I've heard of a lot of other organizations that's looking for gently worn clothing, abayas, etc., to then redistribute amongst the poorer communities. You are creating job opportunities with gently worn clothing. So how do you then source all the stuff?
So Julie, for me, essentially, it's about looking at the sari only because the sari is initially, it's a draped piece of fabric. It's not worn versus clothing, which is worn all the time. Okay. So it's still it's still in its fabric form. Okay. And so I source my saris mainly from the Indian community. Okay. We have different organizations that donate to us on a regular basis. So if someone has passed on or someone's busy doing the decluttering of the closet, we all know that we can only have a certain lifespan on our garments. Those saris come my way because ordinarily where else would they go to? Like I said, would they be dumped on a landfill? I'm able to take that in. So there's a constant flow of saris. Yeah.
Let's just expand on that, because not very many of us are aware with this situation about the wastage from high fashion, the fashion industry, and ourselves, you know, who want to keep abreast of fashion, what it's causing, how much of damage and harm it's causing to our environment.
Sure. So we all know, I think the most visible aspect of that is plastic. Okay. We all kind of become very conscientized towards, using less plastic. Similarly, in the clothing industry, there's what we call a fashion revolution that has taken place, where we're looking at fast fashion versus slow fashion. We fall in the slow fashion category because we're not mass producing. Okay, to make one garment could take a few days, as opposed to a garment that is being garments being churned out by the hour. So if you're sitting in a mainstream factory, you are being clocked, you're watching, you have to produce 10 garments per hour. And the conditions are very harsh and unfair. People are being exploited in terms of wages. And we have said enough of the fast fashion industry, enough of this exploitation of human capacity. We need to treat each other fairly, equally, and in this case, align ourselves to this revolution where we're saying we are doing less harm to the planet. Landfill is at we've got all this dirt sitting everywhere. We need to be kinder to our environment.
Undoubtedly, you are a fierce activist. Your thoughts on high branded fashion clothing, high-end fashion clothing that is produced via child labor. I think you're the type of voice that needs to be heard. Are you activating change in that space?
Julie, this is one of the interventions to prevent that kind of scenario. I don't think there's a lot of stories and actual situations documented in Africa. I feel that there's a big lag in the stats. But if we talk about a country like India and China, we've heard of sweatshops, we've heard of those kind of injustices, and hence this fashion revolution was formed. This started in March 2015 when there was a huge outbreak of a fire in a factory in Bangladesh where more than 350 lives were lost, and this caused a huge uproar. And so the fashion revolution really is about holding big brands to account. We've got the H&Ms and the Zaras, and the question is being asked, who made your clothes? Under what conditions are your clothes being made? And there's a huge call for transparency. So as much as we're saying, where are we going? Sustainable fashion is the way we're going. People are becoming more conscious. So we're feeding into what we call conscious consumerism. So when you're buying that garment, you have a right to want to know, what fabric is this? What conditions is it? What is the person making? What was the ratio of them being paid for the garment versus what the retail price is? We also know there's a huge disconnect and disparity in that as well. So we're looking to address all of these issues through interventions and alternative models such as Sari for Change.
Wonderful. I will. We're going to have to end the interview there. It was absolutely fascinating talking to you. I would love to hook up with you again sometime soon. And what would be your final words of advice to young upcoming entrepreneurs? It's fine. A lot of people, government themselves, keep talking about the space for the unemployment rate in South Africa. The best way to close that gap is via entrepreneurship. But not all of us can become entrepreneurs. We need some sort of a push or a starting block. Some of us don't even know how to pronounce the word or where we start with becoming self-employed or becoming entrepreneurs. Your advice?
We have all been afforded a gift. Okay. In the space that I work, I always say to the ladies, your hands, it's God-given. Okay, you can bead, you can create sewing, you bake. We have women that bake beautifully. Start there. Start with what you know. Start with what you have, and test the market. So, and many entrepreneurs will say this is exactly where they started. Today, we are fortunate that we have platforms where we can test. We've got Instagram, Facebook. Use it. Build your profile. Talk about what you're doing, and you will only know when you just do it. I see a lot of youth. It sits in their mind. It sits in their head. reach out to people that have done it before. Personally, I have a lot of mentees, people that I am mentoring right now. It's part of what I want to do to give back. Okay, and I'm saying to potential entrepreneurs, reach out to women that are already doing it and see how they're doing it, because you can't underestimate the value of sharing and telling our story.
So obviously you are very big into paying it forward, alhamdulillah, but you can't do this alone, obviously. You must have a very strong family support system that allows you to pay it forward and make such a huge difference in so many lives.
That's correct, Julie. Not only my family, I mean, I won't be able to do it without them, but I'm also part of a huge network of like-minded people. I have EC Africa, which is an Entrepreneur Connect. There's 100 women in that network. I have received so much of PR from this network. Each network, there's value, there's women that's waiting to be able to pay it forward. And essentially, we know that entrepreneurship is going to solve a lot of problems, not just in South Africa, but Africa as a whole. And as we're growing, we obviously want our youth to grow with us and for us to be able to pass on that baton.
Alhamdulillah, what a pleasure talking to you. You keep that flag really flying as high as you possibly can. We will, inshallah, hook up with you again sometime in the future. Go well and much, much, much ongoing success. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for having me, Julie. Keep well.
11:34, and we're going to take an ad break now. Shortly thereafter, Rayana Musaji will be joining us, and she's also going to be talking about paying it forward, the difference she is making, an initiative she has started in her little community.